Good morning, folks. Welcome back to another video. And today is one fun day. I kind of feel like maybe some little kid who got his first Lego set, never had one before. I get to start working on the walls here today of my big home. So let's get going. Here we go, first pieces of wood. Okay, construction professionals, this is going to be a very atypical way to frame a wall, so you might want to grab your popcorn. Now, the cool thing is, I've checked the measurements on this stuff. It's the right size, all pre-cut at Lowe's. That's going to save me a ton of work. So as usual, as I mentioned, I do things a little unconventional. I'm sure the regular construction trade guys are going to put the nails to these walls, but I'm going to be using screws because I just prefer to use screws. I have a lot more control with them. I can take them in, take them out, do whatever, and they make things nice and strong. And I'm going to be using Simpson Strong Tie as usual, and no, Simpson's not sponsoring me. And these are 3.5-inch screws, and they're specially designed that they don't split anything, which is really cool. So this bit of lumber here is torqued, and that means that this is not going to be totally square. So I found a little trick on YouTube that hopefully will work. Boom, just like that. So now using our tape measure, we'll do 16-inch on center, and all of those studs will be 16 inches apart. And the nice thing about this tape, it shows right on there in red where 16 inches is, and 32, etc., etc. So making it easy. So right here is the 48-inch mark, and instead of just marking right in the center, I'm going to go 3/4 the way over. Okay, here's a half, here's 3/4. And then the same thing over the other side. Here's 3/4. And of course, I'll just use this square here so that this is, and put a big X in here, so there's no question about where I'm supposed to put that stud in place. Got to get that correct. And naturally, we'll do the top edge here as well. Okay, easy does it. One section of wall, almost up. But it's got to be moved over a bit, so that's where I just have to persuade it a bit. I'll talk to it real gently. No, I'll use a hammer. Almost there. Wow, and it's square too. Okay, happy days. I got it screwed down enough and it's braced so the wind won't muck with it. Now I can do lunch and then get going on some more pieces. Oops, I screwed it in place prematurely. It's off almost 1/4 of an inch. So I'm gonna have to unscrew it and tap it over a little bit. I think it'll be pretty easy though. That did it. Okay, let's start with a section on the south end of the building. I took photos of the plans and then I could just pull them up on my phone. 90.5 is the length of this section. Let's measure and cut. So same thing, I'm marking where the studs are going to go on this, and they're all 16-inch on center, and the last one's only 10.5 to make the right measurement for this short wall. It's all about math, and yeah, hopefully it'll turn out okay. So I'm going to do the 10.5 inch on center so that both of them are together, which in my theory might make the wall a little stronger. I'm not sure. It won't hurt anyway. So I will pre-drill to make it a little easier for the screws. Just like that, we put her where she was supposed to go. And as I mentioned before, the guides show me exactly where the pieces of wood go, which is great. And this lumber is pretty nice to work with because I took literally all afternoon at Lowe's to hand select it and put it in a pile and put my name on it. Come dancing, it's how they did it when I was just a kid. And when they said come dancing, my sister always did. One of my subscribers said I make things like I'm building a boat, a little too exact, but anyway, I think that's a major compliment. I know some people ask me, why do you do this by yourself? You've got friends that could help you. I think it's kind of like sculpting to me. I kind of want to work with it as an art form. I don't know. I just know that I really, really enjoy it. I just kind of doing it as a solo project. It's just so much fun. Okay, I need to put training wheels on this. I mean, support braces, so the wall don't flip over when I stand it up. So let's do it. So I'm using these leftover pieces of wood that came from the forms that I used to make these piers. I put them all up and poured cement in them. I'm sure folks remember that watched it. So this is a good use for these, and let's put on some support braces. Okay, time to call on geriatric power. Up we go. Oh. Good thing I had those Wheaties. Actually, I don't like Wheaties. So I can see this is not lining up perfectly, but the good thing, I pretty much know what's going on. The brace here is causing an issue. It's in too snug, and so I will just undo the brace a bit, and then I'll be able to tap this back in place. There we go, that's better. And to make sure it stays put, I will put in a screw there. There. Well, I got a late start this morning. I never started till 10. I had to make a run for some hardware and supplies for the construction project. But once I got going and got into the swing of it, a lot of fun. And I hope I'll get even faster. But even so, I think I got quite a bit done today. And it was just an absolute joy to work on this project. So we'll see how it goes tomorrow. Good morning, folks. Well, it's a brand new morning and day 2 of working on the walls of my big home. So it's a gorgeous day, nice cool breeze. It'll probably get up into the 80s a little later on. Interesting fact, which I might have mentioned before, I actually am really heat tolerant. So believe it or not, 80s is my favorite temperature for working, exercising, whatever. I just enjoy that temperature for some reason. Anyway, got to get going. Okay, we got 2 pieces of wood selected, and these will be the top and bottom of the section of the wall we're doing. And it's going to have to be measured 96 inches exactly. So what I'm doing here is the wood's not perfect, so there's going to be a little bit of a curve, and when it's curved like that, that top part of the curve is called the crown. And so I'm facing all of my crowns outwards towards the exterior of the wall. Okay, this section looks good, and it needs to be stood up. So I'm going to have to employ some MacGyverisms to get it up there. So I had several 10-foot 2x4s that I purchased and I never used, and I had them stacked and they got all twisted and useless, but now I've got a really good use for them. So I cut them at the end, and that gives them a nice angle, which should work well. So now I will use a good sized bit on the drill and drill a hole right into my wall section, and also there's already a hole drilled in the 10-foot 2x4 brace. Now I got a 1/2 inch by 5-inch carriage bolts. So okay, we'll just thread the carriage bolts through both holes, hopefully. There we go. And then we'll put the nut on the end. So I'm just going to hand tighten it because the brace is supposed to be flexible and move. There. The other thing to mention about this, folks, very crucial, again, is this blocking which is screwed on, and that is the exact boundary where this wall should go, okay? The wall is going to go here, of course, and snug up against these pieces. Now, to make sure everything was all done correctly, I've ran a chalk line, which you can see, and so at any point I can refer to this chalk line and make sure my wall is exactly precise and the way it should be. So I think this is now the part where they say on TV, don't try this at home. Oh! So a piece of block is broken and stuck under there. Kind of Murphy's Law. What shouldn't happen, did happen. There we go. There's the culprit. The other one went a lot easier, to be honest. That's the one you should be seeing, not this one. But I show all of the failures and all the successes. We're going to turn this into a success. All right, I better screw that in place before a gust of wind blows it over. So folks, when I put down the floor, I got really excited. I could now start to see the outline of what this home was going to turn out like. And with the walls, it's changed up even more. And now I can get more of an idea of just where things are going to be and the layout and all of that. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. That'll let you know when the next video comes up, and that'll be showing a lot more wall progress, I promise. So thanks again. See you on the next video.